portal for you to log in and look at your terminals and to monitor your ATMs. If you have any questions, I'm going to ask that you hold them until the end of the webinar, and then I'll be happy to answer those. If it's not a question that I can answer, you can certainly reach out to National Link, and they'll be able to assist you in these questions. So when you log into our website, this is what you're going to see. It's going to have your name with your company name. It's going to have all your different menu items across the top, and it's going to show what we call a dashboard. So on this dashboard, you're going to see dark terminals. If a terminal has not done a transaction within 48 hours, it's going to pop up on this front screen. The next tab is going to be low on cash terminals. If the balance of the ATM is less than $2,000, it's going to show up on this screen. And then we also have a terminal error screen. If the ATM is reporting an error, we'll pop it up on this front screen for you to see that as well. Now we're going to just start going through the different menu items. We're going to go from left to right. Our entire website is in alphabetical order, so keep that in mind when you're looking for different reports and different functionality. So between sometime today and tomorrow, you are going to receive new login credentials. It will be the same user ID that you have on WorldPay today, but the website that you're going to go to is going to be different, and you're going to have to create a new password. So what's going to happen is you're going to receive an email from Columbus Data. It's going to say no reply at columbusdata.net, and it's going to give you your user ID, which should be the same as what you have today when you log into the ATM portal, and it's going to give you a temporary password. It will prompt you to log in and change your password. You have 24 hours from the time you receive that email to log in and change your password. If you don't, then you're going to have to ask to have that password reset. Somebody at National Link will be able to assist you. So when you log in, you change your password, it should prompt you to answer security questions. If it does not, I'm going to encourage you to go to account maintenance and go to users and update your security questions here. What will happen is if you go ahead and take a minute and answer these security questions and submit them, if you ever get locked out of your account, it will ask you one of these questions. You'll be able to answer it. We'll automatically unlock your account. You'll get an email from us with a temporary password that you can log in and change your password. If you do not answer these questions and you get locked out, you're going to have to call somebody to have your password reset. So it's very important that you take the time to do this extra step to save yourself some time later in case you get locked out of the system. So you'll see here you have the ability to update your password and to update your security questions. The next section we're going to talk about is Quick View. So we have multiple reports that you'll have access to through our web portal. So this Quick View gives you some added functionality rather than just a static report. So we're going to go through what that looks like. So the first one is terminal cash activity. You can put in a date range. I'm just going to leave it as one date and click search. And then what this is going to allow you to do is it gives you this grid view, and you have the ability to rearrange these columns if you want to. So if you want your beginning balance to show up over here, you can move that over there, and it'll resort your columns for you. And then if you click Save Grid Settings, the next time you log in, your view will look exactly as you set it the last time. So what this report is going to show you is a couple things. It gives you the terminal ID, the location name, what the beginning balance was based on the date range we put in, and then if any cash was dispensed, if anything was loaded, and what the end of day balance is. So the beauty about this report is that it gives you hyperlinks to see additional information about your terminals. So if you click on this terminal ID, it's going to bring you to a terminal overview. So the terminal overview is going to show you the location information, month-to-date transaction statistics. If you keep scrolling, it's going to show you who has access to your terminal. And then it's also going to show you cash management, the last 10 days worth of data. So it's going to show how much cash was dispensed, if any cash was loaded, and what the new ending balance is for each day. Then it's going to show you current day transactions, so the transactions that are happening right now today. And then it's going to give you a summary up here, summarizing these transactions. And so all that's done through a hyperlink, so you can just close that once you've looked at that data. And again, you can sort on any of these columns if you'd like. So if you want to sort this by terminal ID, you can do that. This also gives you the ability to filter. So any of these columns you can filter. If you hit the filter option, you'll see you have lots of options there. So you're not going to get that on a regular static report. So I'm going to show you we have all of these reports available on a regular static report. So if you don't need to do, don't need to sort your columns or do anything by filters, and you can just run the static report, and it's easier to look at the data. So that's the functionality of Quick View. So we have terminal status info, same thing. You can click on the hyperlinks. So if I wanted to click on this terminal, on this cash balance, It'll bring me to another hyperlink that's going to show me the last 10 days worth of transactions and how we've gotten to that balance so far. So if you look, you can just scroll down. It's going to show you the last 10 days. It shows from 8/2 to 8/12. And again, we have this transaction detail report as another report broken out on our website, but this is just a hyperlink to get to it from this quick view. So you'll see here it shows the last 10 days worth of data. And again, you can resort these columns or rearrange these columns and save your grid, and it will be like that the next time you log in. So this particular report is just showing you the terminal ID, the name, the current cash balance, when we estimate it's going to run out of cash, and the last time it communicated with us, and what the last withdrawal was. We also have terminal transaction summary. You can put in a date range, so I'll just go from the first so you can see what this report looks like. And so this is going to be the information that we've gathered based on the date range I put in. So from the 1st to the 11th, so I can see it's got the terminal ID, how much cash has been dispensed, how much surcharge has been collected, how many surcharge transactions, denials, reversals, other total. Again, you can click on these same hyperlinks. Dispensed is going to show you the transaction detail report based on the date range that we put in. So no different than what we saw earlier. If you click on the TID, it's going to be that same hyperlink to the terminal overview. All right, so that's it for Quick View. Now we're going to talk about real-time transactions. So CDS gives you the ability to pull online journals. If your ATM is capable of supporting an online journal, you just need to enable it at the ATM. If online journal is available and you've enabled it, we will pull it up over here. If you do not see your terminal ID in this dropdown, that means online journal has not been enabled at the ATM, or your ATM just doesn't support it, depending on how old the ATM is. So if online journal is available, you can select the terminal ID. You can put in a date range, or you can put in a sequence number and click View Journal, and it will show you all the data from that ATM. This does count as an actual journal. So if you need to respond to a cardholder dispute, you have the ability to do that and get the journal right here. So this shows you the actual journal details. We also have what's called terminal status. So you can select your terminal ID. You do have the ability, you can copy and paste the TID into here. You can search it by TID, you can search it by name by clicking one of these bubbles to sort it. Just click status, and it's going to show you what's going on with that ATM right now in this moment. So you'll see it's got all the transactions right here. It shows you the sequence numbers. It shows you how much was requested, how much was approved. If there's any skip sequence numbers, it's going to show up I believe in green, and if it's a reversal, you'll see it in red. And then it just summarizes all the data here as well. You can look at this by terminal date or by settlement date. Terminal date is midnight to midnight, and that's in the time zone of the ATM. Settlement date is 1:55 p.m. Central to 1:55 p.m. Central. So if I click this button and I click Get Status, it will change the totals. So it changes the number of transactions you see in the total, provided that this machine did transactions yesterday. Let me see. So it shows the total is 2,940. So if I change this to terminal date and run it again, you see it was $1,200. So it's giving you more data because it's going 1:55 to 1:55 instead of midnight to midnight. All right, the next section is going to be reports. We have a bunch of different reports you're going to have access to. ACH report, this is going to show you how much your machine has dispensed and what you should be seeing back in your bank account the next day. So you can select your terminal ID, put in either one date or several dates. So I'm going to do it from the 1st. And so you'll see this will show you exactly how much was dispensed and going to be showing up into your account. So it shows cash going into account ending in 1001. Surcharge going to account ending in 1907, and it shows $14,000 was dispensed, $73.50 in surcharge was collected and sent to this account number. If you do multiple days, it will grand total everything at the bottom for you. And you'll be able to pull up your bank statement and everything will match that. All right, next are terminal reports. So we have a few different reports in here for you. Settled Reg U report. If you're seeing in an account a debit to your account and you're not understanding what that debit is from, chances are it's probably from a cardholder dispute where you didn't submit the journal, or the journal showed that the cardholder in fact should have gotten their funds and did not. There was an error on the ATM. So if you look at your bank statement and you see a debit to your account, you can put in a date range and view this report. And if anything pops up, this particular customer doesn't have any. Let's see if I can go back some. You'll be able to see if the total matches what was debited from your account by looking at this report. So you can see here, it shows the date that it's settled, the terminal information. It shows who received the Reg U notification via email. It shows you how much the transaction was and what the fees were. And it also even shows you when you received that email. So if you are getting a debit and you're not aware that a debit is coming because of a Reg U, you can go and check your email and make sure you received that email based on the date that we sent it. All right, next we have settlement, surcharge, and transaction summary. So you can select a terminal ID, put in a date range. I'm just going to keep that one date in there so you can see it. And it's going to show you terminal ID, withdrawal account, surcharge amount, what the balance is at the end of the day, and how much settled. Okay, next we have terminal activity summary report. So very similar to what you saw in QuickView, we're going to start going over some of those reports. I can put in a date range, just like I did over there. I'm going to put in from the first. And again, this is going to show you every single terminal that you have, and it's going to give you the TID, how much has been dispensed based on the date range that you put in, the surcharge fees, the withdrawal, surcharge count, denied, reverse, transfers, inquiries, total. And again, you can go to the bottom and it will sum it if you have multiple terminals. Next is just terminal list. That's just going to be a list of all of your terminals. You can just run that and you'll see every terminal that you have access to in your portfolio. It's just going to give you the location information. All right, now we have terminal status report with cassette balance. This is a great report that's going to show you what's going on with all of your machines at one time. So if you've got multiple machines, I would run this report and you can see very quickly what's going on. It gives you the terminal ID, the location information. It shows you the current cash balance in the ATM when we estimate that that machine is going to run out of cash. So what we do is we look at historical data. You guys were just getting data into our system for your terminal, so this may not be 100% accurate, but the balance should be accurate, provided that whoever put the balance into the ATM correctly will report that data back to you correctly. We're going to show you the last time the machine communicated with us, the last time there was a good cash withdrawal, if there's any money in the reject bin, the balance as of a specific date and time, the balance in each of the cassettes. So if you have multiple cassettes, you'll see that balance in each of the cassettes. And you can sort on this report. So if you want to look at last errors, you can click the hyperlink and it will sort it by last error. So you can address those terminals first. All right, next we have 12-month summary. Again, we're just getting your details, so everything is going to migrate over to CDS tomorrow. So we're only going to have data in this system starting with tomorrow. So once your machines have been processing on us, you'll be able to go in and pull this report, and it will show you the last 12 months of data based on this date range. So if I put September 31st as my last date and I click View Report, it's going to show me the last 12 months of data for this particular terminal. So it's going to show me all the way from July back to August of 2018. So if you're trying to get together your information for 1099s, this is going to be a really good report for you to run. All right, so that's it for terminal reports. Now we're going to go and talk about transaction reports. I'm going to go a little bit out of order here. We have a transaction detail report with balance. This is a good report to help you do research. So you can select your terminal ID. You can either use the drop down, you can type in the TID, you can copy and paste it in there, or you can sort it by name. You can put in your date range of transactions that you want to see. So I'm just going to do a few days worth and click View Report. And this is going to show you exactly what this from the machine and what's been settled. So you'll see it's got the terminal date and time, the transaction type, the cardholder number, what was requested, what was dispensed, and the balance after each transaction. And so after each day, it will sum the totals. Okay, so you'll see here, this is the end of the 8. So it's giving me a summary. It shows me how much was dispensed. This particular customer also does deposits. You don't have to worry about that. It shows me how much was collected in surcharge. And then if I want to go to the last page, it'll give me a summary for all the days that I requested. So you'll see here, there's a summary for all days. Okay, so I went a little bit out of order. This is transaction detail report with balance. It goes back 4 months. If you need to research any data beyond 4 months, you're going to use this archive transaction detail report. Same exact report. It just allows you to go back further than 4 months. Okay. Next, we have daily transaction summary. So if you want to see what a particular machine is doing for a specific date range, or maybe just for the month, you can run this, or we can run it for, let's say we want to look at all of last month. So I can put in 7/1 to 7/31 and run this report. And you can't export any of this data, so you can either do it on this front screen here. It defaults to HTML, but you can export it into Adobe or Excel, or once you run the report, if you run it in HTML, you can export it here to all of these different file types. And so what this is going to show you is for the entire date range that we put in, so we did the 1st through the 31st, it's going to show you how much was dispensed per day, and then all of the transaction type details. And again, it will sum it at the bottom for you as well. Okay, deposit log, you guys aren't going to need that. Merchant statement, so very similar to this daily transaction summary. I can select a TID. It's going to automatically default it to whatever month I select. I'll click View Report, and it's just going to show you some basic data. It's going to have the company information on the left-hand side, and then below that, it's going to show you by date what the ATM did. And at the bottom, it's going to show you the monthly transaction statistics. So very similar to that other report, just in a little fancier format. All right, next we have transaction count by denial. So it says by denial, but it actually shows you everything that's going on with your ATM. So if I wanted to just look at a specific terminal ID and the beginning and ending date, it's going to show me the types of transactions that have happened. So it shows me approved transactions were 180, EMV were 492, fallback. It shows you how many transactions were NSF, incorrect PIN, what was not permitted, et cetera. So this gives you an actual breakdown of everything, but we've labeled it by denial so that you know where you can go look to see what type of transactions aren't approving. And then you can tie that back to your transaction detail report as well. All right, so that's it for all of the reports and things that you're going to have access to on our website. I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor for questions. So if you have a question, please feel free to chime in now and ask away, and I will do my best to answer it. So if you're muted, make sure you unmute before you ask your question. How did you have a question?
Yeah, hey, Natalie, this is Manny here, Rocket ATM. I have a question about the merchant statements.
Okay.
Can we customize the merchant statements to the point whereby, let's say we don't want to show the surcharge column, let's say, to have that suppressed?
We can. So what you'll need to do is get with National Link, tell them exactly what it is that you need, and then they will have to get with their account manager at CDS, because what's going on right now is they have access to a select few statements, and this is one of the ones they have access to. So this obviously shows a lot of data. If you want any of that data suppressed, then we need to make sure they have access to a specific statement, and then they give you access to that same statement. So the answer is yes. We just need to, we're going to have to do a little work on the back end to make sure you get the correct one that you need.
Got it. And once that setting is changed, it need not be applied to all terminals, but maybe just a select amount of terminals. So will the system save it so that, you know, which the TIDs that we do need it applied to, it applies to that, and the other ones it does not apply to. You know what I mean? This do we have controllability of that?
Okay, so what I'll need to do is get with, is anybody on the line from National Link? Because it sounds like your affiliates need a little bit more access than what was given them. There is a way to do that. I just have to get with National Link to make sure they're comfortable with the access that you're going to need to be able to do that.
Got it.
Because our website is completely different than the WorldPay website. So I just need to make sure that so the short answer is yes, we have the ability to do that, but I need to know if National Link is going to control that, or if they're going to allow you to control that, is where we're at.
Okay.
Okay. There isn't much that we can't do. It's just a matter of talking with somebody at National Link to see what they're comfortable with, what you guys are going to be able to control and what they're going to be able to control.
Sure.
Because from what I understand on the WorldPay site, you guys didn't have a lot of control, and so I think National Link had to do a lot of that for you. So I just need to see if they're going to continue to govern that, or if they're going to relinquish some of that control and let you guys have it.
Got it.
Did you have any other questions for me?
So, I mean, my situation is slightly unique in the sense that we have you know, some detailed controllability, but from WorldPay transactions that are now being ported over to the CDS servers, I mean, we've seen some spotty communication problems creep up, to be honest with you, Natalie, and I was just wondering what we're doing to alleviate that or work on that, or is that like a work in progress? Or
What's the communication type? Is it dial-up? Is it TCP/IP? What?
TCP/IP for the most part. We've been experiencing some socket errors come by from time to time. Some other error codes that I can't recall right now, but we have seen some issues so far.
Okay, Manny, I'm gonna ask you to take this offline, and I'm making some notes right now, so you probably can't see my screen. I'll probably link it out. Just give me a second.
Yeah. Hi, this is Rami from National Link. We can, if you want, like, give me like a call back after this call so we can talk about the issues or a couple of stuff that you need to discuss, and then maybe like have a list of them so we can work with our account manager on CDS so we can fix all these issues.
Yeah, no problem, Rami. No problem.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions that pertain to the webinar itself and how to utilize it?
Hi, Miss Natalie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, this is Michelle. I work for a company that uses these processing. One question that I did have, and I was a little late on this, so you may have went over it. I apologize.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Low balance alerts.
Okay, so low balance alerts we should be importing all of